Jan, while you were gone, we made you chair. No.
Okay,
Oh, she said, okay.
The recording was paused.
Yeah, let's pause. Oh, no.
Really?
So it really happened.
Did anyone, before we put it off, did anyone have a strong desire to be chair, or they were hoping to be chair, or no, Beth, shake your head no?
Jan?
I would do it. It's just that sometimes I have commitments, family commitment issues, and that's the only reason why I sort of hesitated. But that sometimes I couldn't. During a few times I may not be able to be there, but otherwise I could do it if no one.
So the bylaws for all boards and commissions that were adopted about a year ago provide for a vice chair as well. And so what we could do is vote for a vice chair who then agrees, Jan, when you're unavailable, to chair meetings.
That would work.
Does anyone want to be vice chair?
Okay.
And by the way, there is no, in the bylaws, there's no order of succession, so that doesn't assume that you'll
That
be
just
the
means
next.
I'll go, okay.
Yeah.
Is there a motion to? I think we could probably even do both at once.
Yeah.
I move
Okay.
for
I'll
Jan to
second.
be chair and Janice to be vice chair.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay.
Get that.
Yay.
Jan.
Okay, lifetime achievement. So I did get in touch with staff at the City Museum and actually had some very positive responses. So I think there are two people who would probably want to be part of this. I haven't followed up with a phone call. I had a bit of email. So, you know, I thought the next step would be for us to name a date so we could sort of, because usually we see the nominee or the honoree, but
Yeah.
in Bob's case, obviously that's the point. But your fabulous idea about doing it up at Old Orchards with the apples.
Oh, good.
The apples. I think it's great. So are we thinking October?
I think so. I think that would be good. I think if we came up with like maybe 2 or 3 dates, and that way I could check to make sure from the Parks Department that no one has, you know. I know that I know October 6th, they extended the Old Orchard gazebo series because it was due to the weather, it was too hot, they canceled it, then that band said that they would go then the next week, so I think October 6th, they've definitely got that.
This isn't all that far away.
I know.
That's close, isn't it?
Yeah.
I mean, October 27th gives us the most time.
If we do it at the gazebo, which is a great idea, can we contact Webster Arts or Old Orchard Gallery to see if we can have a rain backup?
Oh,
yeah.
To see if you
Yeah.
can do what? Have a rain backup? And those are both right
So one
there.
thing to be outside when it's cold, it's another thing to be outside when it's cold and rainy.
Yeah. No, that's a good idea, and I would think that,
Better than ponchos.
A little bit,
So, Dave Saunders is on that board, so.
yeah, and you know,
with-
Old Orchard Gallery, not Old Orchard Gallery, the Webster Arts Gallery.
They're both close,
Yeah,
but I
both
mean,
close, yeah.
What are the activities that need to look at? Just found out a friend is not at Burning Man, so that is good.
as of today. Today.
No, he goes every year
Mark
and this
myself
year.
safe from Burning Man.
So like food, like is it food or is it purely just a ceremony? Is it like a 20-minute event? Is it a 2-hour event? I'm just curious what sort of planning needs to happen then.
It's usually about an hour and a half.
I'm
of-
saying between those two.
Yeah, and usually there are formal kind of remarks. I mean, formal,
Mhm.
people talk about the person. You know, we got into kind of it doesn't have to follow this model, but we found it worked very well, kind of have 2 or 3 people speaking about them. We always have them invite whoever they would want. What I'd still like to do is get in touch with his widow and have her be.
Patrick Murphy did not have a contact for that.
Okay.
Yeah,
Well, so I haven't, as I said, spoken specifically. I did ask
Okay.
each of them for her contact information. They responded, but didn't just address it,
Right.
so I don't know if
Okay.
they don't have it. So I'll do that. I'll talk to these people.
Okay.
I mean, if we have both of them talking, I mean, the city museum, it would be wonderful if we had somebody from Webster who remembered the commission. I mean, when was that, in the 80s?
when they did,
decided,
I
or-
think the last time we looked it up, and it was late night, like 96, something
Oh,
like that.
96. okay.
Yeah,
Oh,
around-
Maryland's here.
Yeah.
Marilyn-
I'm thinking of somebody that you might be able to get is Rudy Turini's son,
Uh-huh.
since Rudy Turini was his teacher,
Ah,
and
okay,
it might make a good,
right.
different viewpoint.
Marilyn, do you know of anybody who was instrumental in getting the apples installed? That might be a good person to speak back in the 90s.
Probably the city.
Yeah, it may be the Jerry would be
It
the
would
best
be
person to
underneath
find that.
probably parks. Cause they're in the parks, aren't
Yeah,
they?
Right.
because Jerry was on council then, like she wasn't quite mayor yet, because it was Terry.
Right. But I think she was on council,
she
and
was
but
on
if
council.
not, she would probably know
She
who
would
to
know.
ask,
Yeah.
yeah.
Okay.
So you're gonna reach out?
So what do we need to do to plan for?
So then we have people, food, we have a budget, and
So outdoor would probably,
Chairs.
yeah, and the parks department we can do, I can get chairs from them. I've done
And
it
a
before.
PA system for them
PA
as well.
system, we've got one for the city, so it's really good. And I think the food would just have to be a little bit more, like, I don't know that we would have alcohol, but like we kind of talked about. Just some fall, apple cider, things like that, I think would be fine.
Oh,
And then we would just do advertising and put it in the paper and let people know, and then invite anybody that. Like if they had an invite list, like his widow or anyone else.
And apple cider, maybe apple pie, apple
Yeah.
plum
Yeah,
cake,
yeah,
something
yeah,
like
yeah,
that.
little
or
apple
the
pie,
apple
yeah.
cake.
Would there be something that it could be part of, listed as part of like rededicating those
probably, how
chairs
about
or something?
cookies in
getting
the
us-
shape of apples?
Yeah, something like that, cookies or cake pops in the shape of apples.
And getting us, maybe we could have a sign installed here, that like we have the other sculptures, or is
Oh,
that raising them up to a sculptural level?
I just don't know if we could get a
do
sign
they
done
ever
by,
move?
By
No, but we could just have that part of it.
yeah,
It does
Yeah,
strike me
I
though,
didn't know that.
that fall is a time they begin to get pretty dirty with debris in the air, so
Yeah.
we probably need to let parks clean them the week before.
Yeah.
So they
That would
look
be
their
good.
best.
Good idea.
that would make sense, yeah,
No rotten apples.
Yeah.
yeah,
Jenny, do you do that? Would you? be the
yeah,
one
I
to
could do
notify?
that.
So usually in the past, we've had, I mean, it was often Jerry and Jen who sort of supervised the food.
Mhm.
Does anybody
Yeah,
wanna take
I'm
that?
happy to continue
okay.
that. I feel like I don't
Okay.
do much as liaison to this commission. I come and show up, so,
Yeah,
What kind of?
Okay. okay.
What kind of food would be like the apple?
Well, it seems like apple themed. Maybe we
Yeah,
just
apple
need to
sounds
look
great.
into apple themed food.
Mhm.
Yeah, I think it'd be fun to have a vat of apples or a bowl.
Yeah.
Not bottle.
Yeah.
Chili.
I like that.
Yeah.
Cause his name was Bob.
Freddy's Market does amazing apple pies, so they're not cheap, but maybe if we ordered several, there'd be a per item
Yeah.
discount. If you wanna stick.
And how many people have we been expecting to do this?
We were doing pretty well when it was over at the rec center. It
Yeah,
was,
it's about 100
but,
people, usually,
yeah.
I mean, they were,
I think. it
the
could
last
be
few
like-
ones that I remember have been living though, so they were able to get all of their family and friends. and-
Right, and we had a lot of invitees that
Okay.
they specifically
Yeah.
recommended.
You
Because
might
last year it was a double, we did 2 people,
Yeah.
so that also helped too,
And
we
I
did
didn't
Joe
even
Rad.
go
Dan
outside of
Warner.
that gazebo part because it's such a draw for other,
Mhm.
people
Yeah.
are so used to going there for
Mhm.
events.
Right. And it is sort of honoring the person who did that, so it's
Yeah.
not like you have to know him to
Right.
be eligible. I mean, that's never been the case of
And
any
we
of our
already have
events.
that.
Yeah,
And considering when sunset is, what time is this? Will it be in the
Usually
evening?
like 5:30 to 7, something.
I think that sounds good.
It may be, it's,
In October, it could well
It-
be
it-
dark. Yeah, it will be,
wait,
sure.
what day is
So do
it,
we
the
wanna-
27th?
The 27th.
So
Sunset,
maybe we should rethink that time
October
and try to hit some of the
27th.
deadlines.
sunsets at 6:07, cause
we-
it's not
oh,
daylight
okay.
savings yet.
Are we, oh,
It's gonna be pretty dark. A little bit
It'll-
earlier than that.
It'll get dark quick.
yeah,
though,
no,
but-
right. I was gonna say, are we wedded to Friday? If you did it Saturday, you could do
Middle of the
Oh, yeah.
day.
or even 3 o'clock.
Right, well, with Apple, it might be better to be a Saturday afternoon
Yeah.
than,
I think you get more families and kids.
yeah.
you know,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, cause
And
that's when the retail trick or treating is. You'll see a lot of kids walking around in their costumes.
Oh, it's on the 28th?
I think so. It's always that last Saturday of October.
Yeah. I think so.
So, I mean, I'm thinking, if
What if we do
we're
it
going to do it in the afternoon and encourage families to come.
Yeah.
Is there something we could do for the kids to have a kids activity there? Is that getting too much?
Selfies with the apples, or
Yeah.
that's not a kid's activity per se.
I can put together a kids
Tie it
activity.
in with, you know.
Yeah.
Like Halloween candy or something.
Yeah, I mean, we'll definitely have trick or treat candy for them, the, the cookies or whatever else we get, or.
Let me think on it, and
Okay.
if there's like a small budget to like buy a few things, like. Yeah, we can,
Okay.
if is there gonna be there's the gazebo, so it could be set. Or does the city have tents? If not like big tents, but like if you wanted or a few tables.
Yeah, we have tables for sure,
Yeah.
yeah.
Or yeah, if the weather is bad, we have a
Mhm.
cultural location. that we can-
Right, inside.
Yeah. Okay, so then earlier in the afternoon, the 28th,
So earlier in the afternoon being,
like 1 to 3, is that what we're thinking?
so for
3 to
the
5.
kids trick or treating, do they sort of stream all day or?
Yeah. Yeah,
Actually, I think 3 to 5 would be.
3 to 5.
good, so we can, towards
That
End
sounds
of the
good,
day?
because then at the end, if it ends,
Yeah.
people then can go get dinner at any of the restaurants nearby. if they want
Very
to
good,
stick
yeah.
around. Gross.
I like that.
What do you bring? You were gonna have, what I was gonna ask is, again, brilliant ideas aplenty here. You were saying that somehow, we could, maybe people could get a discount. If you came to the event, you could have some sort of coupon for the museum or
Yeah.
something, you know.
Well, that would,
They
I
can
was thinking,
figure it out,
at the museum, they could have, maybe a packet with a
Right, right.
coupon and a.
I'm sure they have
and
something
a,
for like
a
community
brochure or
engagement
something,
stuff.
you know,
if they
and
have
a-
They may have some ideas about
About it.
kids,
And a little,
apple
you know, a little
kids.
card or something that just says, you know, and enjoy the legacy of Nestle firsthand at the museum, just.
Yeah.
You know,
That's a great idea.
thanks to what she wrote, we could write it,
Yeah.
print it, you know.
Would any businesses or give a discount to people who've been to the events? Has that ever happened?
You know, we could ask Weber's.
Part of me wonders if we should ask Amy's Cake Pops to. commission
Yeah.
Cake Pops.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Little apple. cake.
Oh, that would be perfect. That would be so great.
that would be great. I'm the only one. I-
Could you get in the old Orchard Business section,
Pick up a pizza.
the whole group to be involved?
Oh, talk to the Old Orchard Business Commission?
Uh-huh.
We could let them know, for sure, yeah.
Yeah, if they want to extend some sort of deal or connection.
Yeah.
Yeah, but the cake pops is a perfect.
Well, and you know, you have to check with Amy, but she started doing a pop-up market. And I assume she'll do one in conjunction with the trick or treating.
Yeah,
It also might be nice just at some of those places, at least to post a sign, come on to
Yeah.
Gazebo Park.
Mhm.
To help
Right,
us
right, right.
recognize, yeah.
yeah,
Or people have an Apple special that day.
yeah, cause like I could see Bijou
Cassidy's
doing
special.
something, they just did something for the Webster Foundation fundraising, Bijou chocolates, they did a special. Orange chocolate with a big W on it, but maybe they'd have apple chocolates that day or something like that.
Ideas aplenty.
Start an
yeah.
apple festival.
Yeah.
All right, well, so then,
Okay.
who's gonna reach out to the Old Orchard Commission to
I can reach out to,
Or
yeah,
Who's chair right now? Do you remember?
Is
I don't
it-
remember.
is it is it Weber? I think he might.
Oh, maybe, yeah.
Yeah, I think he's pretty consistently.
The guy that owns Weber's. Nice to throw a coupon of his in there too.
Yeah.
Yeah, right, there's a lot of opportunities here.
Or just say, come over tonight.
So this is great. So I will take the program part. And Jan, usually, again, we don't have to do it always, but the chair kind of introduces the festivities and will be sort of MC. So we'll have a meeting before this so we can run through it. So hopefully everything lined up by October,
Yeah.
whatever our meeting date would be.
I will talk to the Parks Department today, make sure that we can get the gazebo park at that time, that nobody else has requested it.
And then, who wants to talk to, Webster Arts and Orchard about a backup?
I can. send him an email.
That would be perfect, yeah.
Yeah,
It's like, I know we got connections, Munster.
We are. We are set to October 27th.
28, that's
28,
Saturday.
oh, that's
3
right,
to 5.
so as you reach out to the city museum, if they have any programming concepts or
I'll put
ideas.
them in
to bring
touch with you. Could I
Yeah.
do that?
everything.
3 to 5.
3 to 5.
Props. And that'd be
I didn't hear.
I said it'd be kind of fun if you reach out to Amy's cake pops, if she could have cake pops ready to go, the kids could dip them in and put a little thing on top and make apple cake pops. It's kind of a fun.
Sort of naked cake pops that
Yeah.
you.
Yeah.
Were
Bums,
partially, yeah.
Yeah. Put on a little leaf and.
Yeah, right. Okay, so we'll revisit that hopefully.
Yeah, and we'll keep it going via email. So I can keep chatting about these things.
But before we go, probably if we're gonna work on food, we probably need to know what the food budget is. Right?
Okay.
And what else we're gonna spend money on, so
Yeah.
Jenny, you'll just
Mhm.
let us know, that would be great.
Okay.
Is there anything? Remind me, are we a calendar year budget or
Fiscal year.
Fiscal year, yeah.
Right, so we're.
We haven't spent any
only-
yet.
We haven't. and-
Usually this is the main, and we also include sometimes printing invitations, so we're not doing that. So,
Yeah, I mean, I would think that we could put together a nice email, then, there's enough options for that, I think, and honestly, that's one of the things that I feel like in the past, I remember last year. I got emails from almost everybody, but then chasing down. Like door address, like to mail some of the invitations got to be
Yeah.
a challenge, so. We could put together a nice, not even e-bike, there's some better
Mhm.
websites out there that look a little bit more polished and do that for the invitations, but it's just the plaques is pretty much the only other big thing that we spend
Oh,
the
right.
money on, just to actually get. Get the certificate, like you design, and then we just essentially get one of those wooden plaques where it's like a frame and, see if there's an example of one in here right now, but yeah, we did the nice frame, yeah,
But we don't, you mean the plaque for the honoree?
yes.
But we won't have that this year.
Unless if we wanted to give something to his widow,
His widow.
or even the city museum or something
Okay.
like that, so they can put it, yeah,
All right, to cities.
yeah.
So
There's a
getting
widow.
back to your.
Will you be able to do it?
budget, What what
Yeah, I
has
don't
the
have
it.
what cost in the past?
In the past, I
His
believe,
ex-wife
I don't
doesn't
remember.
work
That's
at
right.
all.
yeah, I
It's
don't remember,
immediate
for some
widow.
reason, like 200 and something is sticking in my head for food budget. 250, 300, somewhere around that.
I can remember it overall, like about 500.
Yeah, overall 500, I think, in that, but we did do alcohol, which was a little bit more expensive.
Right. Could do hard cider.
Yeah, we could do that for some of that.
I was thinking an apple cider, but you could have a problem with the hard cider.
That's right.
Well, especially as we focus a little bit more on kids and
Yeah.
in City Park, I worry a little bit more
Yeah.
I
about.
think we just have cider,
Yeah.
regular apple cider.
Cause I don't wanna have to feel like we have to, if somebody comes up to card them,
Card,
I don't wanna have to
right,
do that.
Yes.
Yeah,
And 2 ciders would be really hard to.
yeah.
You know, you have to taste
Differentiate.
everybody's.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Okay.
Yeah, the light hearts.
I know you do.
All right, so. We're done?
I think so, I think so.
And when you say, I know, we've been on the commission a long time, when you say we can continue this on email.
Mhm.
We can't really conduct business,
Can't
right?
vote, but like we
can-
can at least like, if you reach out to City Museum and you're like, yes, they have coupons or something
Right,
like that,
right.
let us know
Just
via, and that way
report
we'll
that
keep a
back.
running list, yeah.
Right, so fundamentally, we've made all the decisions, it's just now the implementation part, and that we can
Yeah.
certainly do via email.
All right, banners.
So, I know Alex here in the last meeting, we talked about the banners, and I'm gonna share the screen for a little bit and see if I can hold this one thing up. I don't know. You guys see that on the screen, the arts organizations? Okay, I put this together because I was thinking as we start moving forward with the banners, having something that we can all look at and first off, to start with just like, do you have a contact name at this organization that you think would be a good person to reach out to? You know, like if Judy, you know, somebody at Opera Theater that you've known for years, and you can be like, oh, of course, you know, Jane, I'm gonna put her down, here's her, and the commission member who would contact her with their name there, just so we can kind of start splitting up the list. Once we finalize the sheet and make sure that we, like, I'm sure I could see Dottie probably being the person who would reach out to the conservatory. I'm assuming, just because she worked there for so long.
I'm adjunct at Webster U now, teaching in the music department, so I could help with that too, if you want.
Perfect, perfect, and that's the kind of stuff, I know that we have so many arts connections here that it would be nice to start putting our names down for things.
I would do offer and rep.
Okay.
Hmm. I wonder how much of a good sell we'd get with Webster University, because they're overloaded with flags all over the streets and throughout their whole campus.
They are.
They may not want something from the city.
But
Oh, it's-
would they perhaps be interested somewhere else then?
Yeah, I
We're
think-
assuming they want it nearby, but they may not. Publicity.
I have to make sure that people can actually edit that document. I think it's worth reaching out to them, you know, even if they say no, thank you, at least. At least we don't have them suddenly see all the banners in the sky and be like, why weren't we asked? You know, I just don't want that kind of a reaction. Sure.
Well, and you know, maybe after we hear from the conservatory or the galleries. It's worth me calling Beth Strobel too, just so whatever their answer is. We'll make
Yes.
sure she knows
Okay.
that we talked to them.
Okay.
3 to 5, right? So we'll. you're gonna
I
fix
just
this and
realized
then
that we
we'll
can't
go
edit the
into
list.
our
I'll make sure that we can do that. Yeah, and if you wanna go into it yourself and just put your name down under the commission member column, and that way we can kind of talk at the next meeting and make sure. And if there's a few that don't have names, then figure out who would contact them or reach out. So we've also got,
I can talk to somebody at Graphica.
okay,
And Green Door.
Did you circulate that list?
it was in the
Okay.
email, and I think I do have to go, cause I've noticed it says view only, and go through when I get down to my desk and make sure that people can
Sure.
edit it.
Yeah, and I could do Opera Theater too, but if Janice, that's fine. McGowan and Burr.
Mhm.
You can do, I don't know if Holly owns it anymore, but.
See,
So I feel like we would have heard if she doesn't. but-
Are we gonna develop sort of just a little script so we really know what we should say?
I think so, and I think at the next meeting, when we talk about some of the finals, we can go over, go over this, make sure that it's finalized to a point where we all feel comfortable with what we're offering. And that could be something, as soon as we're done with this, I can send this out via email as well, and it's not an official decision. That could also be one of those things where if you're like, I thought that we agreed that it would be this much money, and we can kind of reply all and get through it. But yeah, hopefully then start reaching out to folks in earnest in October and November and December. And I put on the minutes here how many banners we have. I think, yeah. That there's 24 banners in Old Webster and the size of them, and then 12 banners in Old Orchard and the size of those. So that's something as well, we can create a document once we start selling them to make sure that we don't oversell.
Right.
Which would be lovely.
Maybe, maybe we should try another direction of trying to sell these things, is possibly go to the business districts themselves and see if they will sponsor it in their area, instead of going to individual organizations.
Yeah, I think or get a time on one of their meetings. You could pitch a whole bunch of them at one time.
I could
Hash
get,
out a little.
I'll get a list of who's on the business districts. I've got it on my desk, but I don't have it in front of me, but we don't have too many arts organizations involved in them. Like I'm thinking with Old Webster, it's like Zoe Zadok, Paisley, an insurance office. For Old Orchard, it might be Novel Neighbor, Weber's.
Yeah, I think if they were more general and, you know, promoting that district, but if they're promoting the arts, that could be a tough sell for people to pay for those if they're not relating to their own business.
Mm.
Maybe I'll contact Novel Neighbor about. Sorry.
About the lifetime
Lifetime
achievement.
achievement.
I wonder if they've got like a book on Bob Castley or anything like that they could
Right.
make sure is in
City
front of their
Museum.
store. Yeah,
Oh, sorry
that's fine. No inspiration.
You know, if they did have that, you could almost have a giveaway, you know what I mean, if it was a $30 book or something.
Yeah.
You know, pick up your ticket, and we're gonna.
Yeah,
we'll just-
like raffle
I
ticket,
think
got
raffle
raffle
tickets,
tickets,
Yeah, yeah.
You had to stay, pick it up, so you had to party.
Or I think it's definitely worth letting the business districts know, like at their meeting this month, that we're doing this. And just so they're aware, so if they start hearing about it, that they're not like, what are you talking about? Like who's doing what?
definitely.
Um,
They may, if they want to. Yeah, to connect with Judith, I'm sorry, about programming, like if there's something that they think that they. Like, let the chair, let the committee, the commission know, and then if businesses want to. Coordinate anything.
Yeah.
And let us
Okay.
know so
Well,
that
we-
we can.
I think we talked one time,
I'm sorry.
real quickly, at one of the meetings with Alex about some kind of a scholarship thing. So if some of the organizations, you know, couldn't come up with money, there would be our money or somebody's money to move that forward. So it could be something that we pitch to those business organizations. You know how many of the arts bring into Webster, and they come to your restaurant and your stores.
Yeah,
So you know, if you don't, we know you don't need a banner, but if you want to put it into this scholarship. I don't know what that takes to set it off or. Make it legal, but you know, it could be some, it's just a fundraising.
it looks like Alex might have dropped off.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I can hear you.
Oh, okay, you are there. Okay, I didn't see your name.
Just
Um,
listening. Yeah.
Okay. So for the sponsorship opportunity sheet, I will make sure that we have the updated, just that, like this for the specifications, like from the minutes with the two different sizes, depending upon where they are.
Yeah.
And then, is there anything else that we wanted to change in the sponsorship opportunity text?
You're asking the group. You're not asking
Yeah,
me.
oh, not just you, yeah, whole group, whole group.
It's pretty simple.
Mhm.
Yeah. It should be.
I think so. Okay. And the 500, that's what we. Think so. We're at 500, it seems
Is
like it's
that all?
Well, for
And
minimum
cover the
years.
costs.
Yeah.
Cover. And then, the design, has that been finalized? Cause that would be,
I don't believe so,
okay.
yeah.
Remember, John had those other designs, but what we had discussed is the design would be simple for these organizations to produce. So basically, they send us an image, they send us a logo. We already have our logo, the City of Webster Groves logo, and the banner's done. And then you put their website, somewhere that was visible. So you really make it simple for
Mhm.
everybody involved in terms of their organizational image, City of Webster Groves logo, organizational logo, and then website. And that's quite a bit. And
Yeah.
Yeah. It is.
to get and then have those organizations sending you just a high quality image that's not pixelated, that seems like trouble enough.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we need to give them a specific thing, so much by so much by so many pixels.
Do we need to
I
put that
just-
into the,
Into the
into
application.
the application so that they know what they need to provide for us? So
Yeah.
there's not a surprise later going, oh, this. is
Yeah,
what I
that we need a high res image and then,
I just have one suggestion, I guess, but the way that the poster is there with the huge Webster Groves, and then the smaller City of the Arts. It could be anything under there. Could be a restaurant, it could be a shoe store, it doesn't have to be art. I would just like to reverse that and take the City of the Arts, like the banner the way it looks now, reconfigure that smaller and have that at the top. So it's the City of the Arts. And then here's what's there,
okay.
and it's just
Would you be willing to mock one up?
yeah,
Okay,
You're just saying that City of the Arts is too small and. so
I mean,
we're not-
just because these are all art banners.
Right. So we.
So I
want to
would
move-
set it up right away as, this is the City of the Arts.
Yeah. Right.
Here's Opera Theater, this is the City of the Arts, here's the Theater Guild or whatever,
Okay.
So, I don't know if that's agreeable. I know that the Webster, but they're here. I mean, they're in Webster.
yeah,
It says welcome to
I-
Webster, so I want to get the forward, we're Webster, but this is a little part of Webster, which
highlight
is.
the arts organization more than Webster Groves. Yeah, okay,
But you would still have Webster Groves there.
Oh,
just
yeah.
small.
okay. Yeah, if you wouldn't mind emailing everybody.
Okay.
a mock-up, that would be cool.
And so what type of image would would they need to
Do
be?
you have any
provided?
TBI or?
Yeah. You
Yeah.
need to put that in to see what would.
Can you give an estimate on that? DPI required for this scale of banner. to Get a.
Oh, you mean for the picture?
Mhm.
Yeah. I mean, there's different ways to get to it, so I would be better with the sign guy,
Okay.
you know what I mean?
Oh, okay, for
To
this.
set it just because I
Yeah.
might set it too high for people, you know
Yeah,
what I mean, and they go,
Yeah,
well, we
yeah,
don't need it.
yeah, Right,
So that should be there in case somebody says I can't provide it.
right.
Yeah.
right,
Yeah.
right.
Maybe we should add the Crossroads section too, besides Old Webster and Old Orchard, because you've got an art gallery there, you've got a couple other things that relate to the arts there also.
we could, right now, Crossroads doesn't have any, like, I don't have them listed there just because they don't have any arts banners currently.
Okay.
Like the banners are kind of predetermined to who has them where, and so I had just asked our Public Works Department, where do we currently have arts banners? So those are kind of like reserved for us then to update. So Crossroads doesn't have any, but it doesn't mean we can't reach out to Crossroads businesses. It's
Right.
just they probably won't
They
have
may
them.
want that.
Yeah.
right?
We could see, I think it was, and then it just gets into, I have to look and see what their banners are and figure out if whoever has that banner would be willing to give the space to arts. It might say Crossroads.
And if we know of other arts organizations that are not on the list, can we add those?
Yes,
Okay.
yes, please do. I had a list and list that we've been working from, and it's updates when people think of it and when you know, but even when I looked at it, it was like, oh, I need to take, there was something on there that I was like, I think I need to remove them. I don't think they're there anymore. And I had to search, and then there was something else that I was like, why isn't this organization, you know,
Mhm,
a Gateway Center for Performing Arts? I don't think I had.
mhm.
I'm like, I know that they're here because I always see people posting about their kids doing shows, they can do a chamber, you know, and I'm like, we can add that in there.
So our goal for our next meeting is to volunteer to be a
Yeah.
liaison and perhaps fill in more.
Yeah, I think that as long as we get this kind of idea finalized and what it looks like finalized, and then have as much of the Excel filled out as possible, I think that would be good.
All right, updates, the.
Signs, they're in
Nice.
progress, yeah, it's just a matter of getting them and having them installed, so I think that we'll.
And is there any issue with the installation? Is the Parks Department have the time?
Public Works will do,
Public
yeah,
Works,
and that's,
sorry.
they'll just add it to their list.
I guess I work at the Art Museum, just because we have somebody that's not, I mean, it goes into the galleries for like months and months, so I'm used to
Yeah.
working. on it. And as for B, I did email Catherine, I did not get a response
Okay.
yet from her, but like I said, I firmly remember that she had at least come and given an estimate to us, and I thought we had either reserved some money or.
Even if we had reserved it, I think we hadn't used it and then like, if I didn't ask for us to continue to reserve it, which I didn't, because I didn't know about it, it got folded back into the general budget, so.
It looked like she's got some things going on, so. probably-
Okay,
So I.
no,
will- I
well,
will
we do
try.
have that arts, the public art fund, which I think could easily be used.
Yeah,
For repairs of the public art.
right.
Yeah, that one we know we can use it for.
Yeah,
But we do have to have her do it.
yeah, okay,
So, or do, I mean, I would think.
yeah,
right?
I would.
And for the cover, you know, they have those two sort of slabs of concrete onto which the bird is bolted. So what the deal was is she was gonna design something to cover them, to make them look nicer. So maybe that would cover the bolts or encase them in some way. I don't think necessarily tile, but it was gonna be something a bit more attractive. So
Okay.
that was the deal.
Yeah.
Right. Anything else that,
I do have a couple of things. I am gonna attend the RAC Cultura Economic Report Conference in October. I guess I could have said this next month because it's so far out. And, you know, hopefully we can bring back some things, given, you know, the role of arts in our community and talk about economic impact, which I think will help this commission in budget time and other places. Second thing is totally city related. We expect the Charter Review Advisory Board to get a report to us by the end of the month. So this fall, look for opportunities to comment on recommendations that they've made to the city council. Keep in mind that anything that our job at council is to recommend things to go on the ballot or not. You don't decide whether the charter's changed, only that's done by public vote. But I think they're gonna end up with 26 recommendations, and that's an awful lot for us to send to the voters. So we'll see whether we do it multiple elections, we weed it out down a little bit. I don't know what's gonna happen, but please participate in that process, because we want to make sure that since we tend to do this only 25 or 30 years at a stretch, that we're making changes that residents want. Or actually offering residents the opportunity to make changes that they want. I have to be careful with my language here. Thank you.
Strike that from the rest.
She didn't pause the recording on that.
Okay, and so our next meeting is.
Oh, yes.
But just a minute.
Oh.
I kind of maybe spoke too soon on this banner thing. I just, I think I want to be a little stretched a little too thin with that right now, with things going on. So I was wondering, Terry, Grizzle, doesn't she do a lot?
Oh, Tracy.
Tracy
Official, okay, we can have it to her, or we can mock something up
Have her
on Canva.
contact me. I'll send her whatever she needs and discuss it.
Okay.
She's a great
I've got her
designer.
contact, yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
I mean, I have a lot of that artwork. you know,
okay.
I'm not trying to bail out of it completely, but I
No.
just thought,
Makes
you know,
sense.
sometimes, gotta put my brain gauge before I open up, but I got too much going on right now.
Okay. That's good, I've got her input. I would have the first Tuesday in October is October 3rd.
And this is my last one, so it's been great. And if you need, I'm still gonna be around in and out.
Okay.
I'm not completely off, away from everything here, but, and I'm still on Webster Arts. But, been great, so.
We expect
you,
you at the
John.
Apple
And I know
meeting.
Jan will be a great,
I guess.
Well, in my
Thinking- I'm
capacity,
thinking you could stay on forever because you can always say that you still have your business in Webster, quote. America's sign.
yeah, well, I thought I would be, you're the only other charter member still left, aren't you?
Yeah,
Oh, no, you too, yeah, I
The
forgot.
two of us, right,
Yeah.
right, yeah, hold it down, right.
So,
well, John, thank you. You've been
Thank you.
just such a valuable representative of this commission, and it's nice to see your work all around the city.
yeah, me too, I enjoy it, every day of it, thank you very much.
Thank you.
All right,
All right.
we adjourn, do we have to vote to adjourn, or just adjourn, right?
I don't know.
I think we could just adjourn.
Okay, thanks, everybody.
Bless everybody.
Thank you.
Bye.